What up, people? It is episode 356 of Hit the Ropes Radio. This is Darius, joined by my man, Mr. Mac. What is going on, Mac?
Oh, man, ain't nothing, man. Just enjoying me some nice water right here in my cup. Had dinner with the kids and the wife. You know, I'm all set, ready to go. Looking forward to NXT tonight. Got a nice little big debut tonight. I don't know if you know. But newly signed Lio Rush is making his WWE NXT debut tonight.
Wow, they must have rushed, pun intended, him into NXT because I remember him just getting signed, like it seems like. So that's crazy.
Yeah. You know what, man? I gotta be honest, man. And I don't know if you've been watching 205 Live. I've been enjoying 205 Live the last couple of weeks. Also, so.
And we're going to talk about 205 Live and the king of 205 Live now, one Enzo Amore. People haven't been talking at all about 205 until he jumped on the scene. And so that's great for the 205ers. He had a contract where nobody could touch him or they would never get a shot at his title. And, of course, not only did the former champion lay hands on him or lay feet on him, but eventually everybody in the division did. Was that on that part where they was that all on Raw, or was that on 205 Live? Where
that was on Raw after Raw went off last week. So
so what happened? Did they pick up the storyline from there on 205 Live with him?
Yep.
Yeah. What happened after that?
So pretty much on 205 Live last week, he had another I guess crowning ceremony where he talked about everybody. And then it was pretty much like it played out on Raw this week, with the exception of, you know, the new cruiserweight debut.
Okay. So I saw that, and let's talk about his promo a little bit, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of the the pipe bomb promos.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why. Because easy to drop those kind of promos to say, okay, Cedric Alexander, you're not over because you're boring. Okay. He said it, and people may agree with it, but like, how creative really is that to just call out that he's boring? So I know you're hype about, and we've seen the hype about but how do you feel about him going? Because that was like, if you remember, after the pipe bomb, then AJ Lee did this similar thing where she called out each and every member of the Divas division at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the same kind of thing, going a little bit personal, crossing the line, the blurred line of reality and pro wrestling. And Enzo did that not once but twice, and repeated some of the bombs, specifically to Cedric as well. So that's why I'm like, okay, I get it, but I was not as impressed with it.
I didn't mind it. Because here's the thing, right? So I think it was WWE acknowledging the fact that although the wrestling is great on 205 Live, and it actually has been developing some of the cruiserweights as characters, nobody really cares about 205 Live. I know I didn't before like 3 weeks ago. I'm assuming that you didn't. I know Shane and Stokes don't watch. So, like, I think it was just WWE acknowledging that nobody watches the show, and they needed something to kind of like add an infusion of energy, add a spark. And the only way to do it was adding Enzo to it, and because I think it helps him too, because without Big Cass, he should be a manager. You know what I'm saying? He is not good in the ring. He has to, you know, he's I guess we could term him a brawler, but I mean he's a little guy, so he gets stomped out, you know, regardless. But the fact that they needed something to do with Enzo, and 205 actually needed a spark, I kind of think it worked. It's got people's eyes on 205, and you know, I'll be honest, I was upset that he won. I remember saying publicly that if he beat Neville, then I was going to turn the show off, and I think WWE might have had that sentiment, and that's the reason why they had that the second to the last match at the pay-per-view. I mean, he's been good. He's a great talker, you know, and it's actually got people live now, so I think it's worked.
Yeah, and Daniel Price, he said that it's a bad idea before they did it. So, you know, we'll see. It did get the attention, and my mic is still bad. I don't know what to do. It seems every other week we're having microphone issues.
Hey man, I told you they don't want it to. They don't want us to win, man.
You're right about that. They've been hating since day one.
Oh.
I'm switching.
I hear you. So are you now just through your computer?
Okay. Did it get beat up again?
A little.
A little bit. Okay. I took it out. Is it choppy now?
Oh, it's better.
Okay. Well, we'll roll with that. But yeah. So Enzo, here's my predictions on this whole thing. It gives it a kick, but it doesn't save 205 Live. Okay, so this is good for the moment, but he's still, at the end of the day, he's got to wrestle. He's still got to fight, and he can probably get away with it for a minute. Ellsworth has been able to manage to hang around for much longer. I thought 3 months tops. He's had his year anniversary in the WWE now. So the point being, he's going to be around for a while, but at the end of the day, I think 205 will end up fading away. They'll merge it back into the show, and maybe they'll come up with something else because they're always looking for content, especially if they get hardcore-esque or riskier style of professional wrestling that they teased in a questionnaire. So I think once they have something else to replace it, it may just fade away. And with that being said, I think Enzo, his push, just like it's going to be one of those pushes that are ultimately unforgotten. He was pushed immediately to the head of the line. Cedric Alexander's back. You know, we would think he may be deserving of a cruiserweight championship match, but Enzo, because he can talk and he has those merch deals, at least he will have you believe. So he gets put up top. But I think this push will end up sizzling really quick. And that leads me to kind of the combo of the night. It's a multiple different categories kind of smashed into one. So some of these may relate to the other, but they're all similar at the end of the day. So what am I talking about? One-hit wonders in professional wrestling. Enzo hasn't, to me, he hasn't got to the level where we can call him a one-hit wonder. All right, he hasn't wrestled in a main event on a Raw. He was the main event segment, right? But he may have as a tag team or as a part of a six-man, something like that. But he at the end of the day, my mic is unplugged.
Oh, okay.
But so he's not necessarily a one-hit wonder, but he'll be a guy that has been pushed and it has failed. The push didn't go to where it really needed to go. So in this case, he's not able to save the 205 division. Another example of a push that was a fail would be Giant Gonzalez, Elegante. If you remember back at WrestleMania time, he got pushed into that spotlight with The Undertaker just because he's a big dude. Now, a guy we're going to talk about a little bit more, a guy that has been pushed and has fallen flat, in my book, is Bray Wyatt. And he's got a nice storyline going, kind of. Some people are sick of it. Are you ready to give up on Bray Wyatt and say he is a guy who has been pushed? He's been there with Cena. He's had to run with Daniel Bryan. He's had all these like kind of, propellers attached to him. But at the end of the day, he doesn't live up to what he's supposed to, the expectations.
Here's the thing. Yes. And it's not his fault. I think it's just bad booking, man. I think when you first, was pushing Bray, he was hot. The crowd loved him, and the crowd still does the thing with their phones, his fireflies, whatever, but they don't necessarily cheer for him like they used to. I think they might have maybe missed a chance with him. Because his championship reign was like very, very forgettable, and very short too. I mean, he hasn't been in really any compelling feuds after John Cena. I mean, the storyline with Randy Orton when Orton turned on him, that was cool, but I mean, it's been too few and far between for Bray Wyatt with his story. And I'll be honest, even after what happened on Raw this past week and the rumors with the dirt sheets are all kicking around, I'm still not looking forward to another Bray Wyatt Finn Balor match.
Yeah, and here's the thing, he still cuts a good promo. He knows his character so well. I think his promos are still good. Yes. It's just I can't invest, even though he is a heel, he is a bad guy. I can't invest in him as a threat. He's got to win one of these feuds.
Yes, he hasn't won a feud. He doesn't win. He doesn't win pay-per-view matches. He doesn't win any big matches, And so it's kind of like they're relying on this, like it's kind of like they're pushing him like he's Undertaker 2.0, and he's really not. I think Bray kind of needs maybe some time off TV, a little slight character tweak, not too much, because his character is good and his promos are still really good. But I just think he needs some time off TV, just to refresh, just because I'll be honest, I got Bray Wyatt fatigue. I'm just nothing he does, as of late is compelling to me at all. So,
and Daniel's talking about what you alluded to, what the dirt sheets are saying is that Bray Wyatt, is going to somehow absorb and become Sister Abigail. We thought that Randy Orton had burned her up, or burned the grave, so apparently she was already dead, and he burned the grave, and yet she's somehow coming back to life, like through him. And he had some makeup on or something in the promo. It looked good. Again, what they've been doing up until the bouts is typically pretty good, but they're dropping the ball, and they're dropping so I keep saying over and over again, I would love to see him with Sanity, leading Sanity.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be amazing, I think, and actually get some wins. And you mentioned his title reign being pretty much a flop, and that was because of the weird storyline. We didn't know why Randy Orton really joined him. He said, if I can't beat him, I'll join him," which is weird. You're the legend killer and all this great stuff, but now you're joining a faction because you couldn't beat Bray Wyatt, who could not beat anyone.
Right.
But his title reign was longer than some other folks. He had Mankind had a combined 3 title reigns lasting like 47 days or something. Jeff Hardy once for 42, and 2 title reigns for Batista. This time about individual title reigns, 37 and 38. So those are notable names, Hall of Famers, and although it was very boring, he managed to hold on to the title for much, much longer here. But I don't know. And another one is guys that kind of get pushed to the moon and fail is Dolph Ziggler. He is now feuding with Bobby Roode.
Finally, after 5 weeks of Dolph Ziggler coming out doing different people's entrances, finally you find out where it's going. It's going to a match with Bobby Roode. I think it's going to be a good match, but I mean, is that it? Was all his, his entrance, memeing, running around, leading up to a match with Bobby Roode? I mean, I was hoping it would lead to, maybe Dolph getting a character refresh, but I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I just think they like he's a good worker, and that's all he'll be.
Yeah, I think that they need to just cut ties with him. I mean, I don't want to see him lose a job, but it's just, if this is what he wants to do, and maybe he's the greatest. Dolph Ziggler is the best there is, right? And he sells fine. It's Mr. Perfect escorts over the top, right? And so his stuff is good. He's legit, which I think they forgot about. We hear about Jack Swagger all the time when he was with the WWE and his great wrestling, amateur wrestling pedigree. And I think we hear it a little bit with Dolph Ziggler, but he's not played up that he's, this bad man pajama.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't mind seeing him go Cody Rhodes' route and just leave. Just go reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
The only risk there is you could be Shelton Benjamin, who, again, in the same category, him maybe more held down than anything else, but it took him 7 years to get back, so that may be why.
Yeah, but I think the one thing that Dolph has going for him is he's still really good on the microphone, and WWE is always going to have a place for a guy who can really talk. So, I think if Dolph was to leave, he'd be cool.
Yeah, he probably would be cool. It's not a great time being that there's no number 2, right? With Impact Wrestling being in such shambles, there's New Japan, you can go over there, and Indies may be up more than ever. But do you know how old Dolph Ziggler is?
What is he, like 37 or something?
Yeah, he's 37. I mean,
oh wow!
He wants to reinvent your career.
That was just a guess, but
Hey, you were on the money. 37. And you can't reinvent your career and start traveling the indie scene. I mean, at the age of 37. So,
I mean, I mean, I don't necessarily say, because AJ kind of did it, but I mean, he wasn't. I guess he wasn't not necessarily. Well, because he went heel before he left. Well, he was a lot younger when he disappeared from TNA and then came back. And then when he came back, he wasn't necessarily heel. He just had the beard and the long hair. So I mean, man, are there really is there any guy that was that old other maybe than Foley? You know, that changed his gimmick at that this late in the game.
Hogan would be the only one. Which and that one. I don't want to say it's an easy one because it wasn't a shoe-in call, but yeah.
Dolph is no Hogan though.
Right. But yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to even say what you do with him at this point, but yeah, I would like to see something new for him, and well, he's had the world title twice. I mean, do you honestly think that he could not only be just a world champion, but with all the stars that they have, and maybe they don't have that many, but be a headliner at WrestleMania? Do you see that there could be any program where he could walk into WrestleMania and legit be the guy?
Oh, we still talking about Dolph?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as his ability and stuff, yeah, I do, but I just think they just don't have any confidence in him. And it sucks because, I mean, when did he get that concussion? What, 5 years ago? And he's still kind of suffering from the backlash of getting a concussion, which, is complete garbage when you think about it. But, it's how they like to do. They say they can't trust him, but he hasn't been out since he's been back, So, I just realized, I think Stokes pointed this out to me that this entire time that Jeff Hardy's been wrestling, he is just suffering his first major injury. And, Dolph's like an Iron Man like that, So, and Dolph hasn't missed any time due to drugs or anything like that. He just missed a month and a half with the concussion. And, why not, man? It's kind of like he's a guy that can work, he can talk, I just don't get it. But, I've kind of given up on the idea of them doing anything with Dolph Ziggler at this point.
All right, fair enough. Well, shout out to some folks in the chat room. We got Daniel Price holding it down on YouTube and on Facebook Live. We got Captain Ron Johnson. We haven't heard from Captain Ron in a hot minute. And Stokes is in there, and he wants to know why this fool is wearing a Cena headband.
Hey, man,
Calling you out.
Hey, whatever, Stokes,
It ain't a show if he ain't trying to bust your chops, but
I know, man. Never give up, man. Dolph Ziggler, never give up, man. We got you, fam. Yeah, we got you over here. We trying to give you that hit the ropes rub, baby. Never give up, Dolph.
Never give up. Never give up. We have yet to give up on the thought, the idea, the return of the Shield. The Shield.
Oh boy.
Is back now. Oh, whoa. Okay, hold up now. Hold up. I said the Shield. And you said your immediate response, your immediate reaction was, "Oh boy, what? Oh boy, what's up with that hate on the Shield, man?"
It's not hating; it's just so blatantly obvious, man. It's so obvious that it's gonna happen, and then you do the little the teaser trailer at the end of Raw, and where Dean and Seth walk up on Roman in the locker room. But hey, man, forget them, dog. The Miz has been great. The Miz has been absolutely hot fire, man. Greatness. And you know what? I'm so glad that it's not gonna be Dallas and Axel, and it's gonna be the Bar, man. I first of all, I love Sheamus and Cesaro, and shout out to WWE for that Cesaro shirt that they released this week, the Thwith Cyborg shirt. That's pretty hilarious. But man, the Miz has been great. And I think they're just going to do this. They're using the Miz to get the IC title on Reigns. But I think if there's one program where you want people to cheer Roman, and even though people were cheering the Miz on Raw, but when Roman was wrecking Dallas and Axel, he was getting crazy pops this week. And so, okay, I got way off topic. I'm glad they're not, burning the Shield reunion on, the Miz, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel. If Sheamus and Cesaro fit because they're feuding with Ambrose and Rollins right now, and Miz is feuding with Reigns, which is a feud that I never thought I would see, but I like the potential of it, man. Just because I love the Miz, and I like Roman too. So, and shout out to Daniel Price. No, it does nothing for Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, but who cares? What all they're there for is to run interference. They're not, they're nothing more than Miz's jobber cronies. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Miz had that golden touch for a minute. Anybody who was associated with him as a lackey, they were on fire afterwards. Miz Dow, he was on top of the world, and then he went off on his own in TNA, and I don't know. I don't think we've heard from the dude since.
I haven't heard.
Retired. So when you have Curtis Axel, who's talented, he was the guy who was prepping The Rock when The Rock was returning.
He was the first Heyman guy, really. Well, I mean,
right.
Yeah.
He was up there, not necessarily the first, but the first in the new era. I feel you. And then the Bo Dallas, he was their guy in NXT, right? He was the NXT champion in the early stages, so they had a lot of faith in him. He
beat Big E for the NXT title and held that mud for a long time.
Right. So you got two guys who had they had pedigree, right? Their fathers, their grandfathers.
Yep.
And you put them with the Miz, and that was supposed to be this, coming out party, even if they were in a secondary role, and it really hasn't been so. So when you put them with the Bar to go up against the Shield, and look, you mentioned part of it. The Shield is really, they've invested so much in Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
So much, the WrestleManias, Triple H, Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, then facing John Cena. They have, he's that guy, but I wrote about it on the VC.com, and we don't know right now if he's just the transition piece. Is he the next John Cena in the fact that he is the guy that comes and takes the company to the next spot? Or is he Bret Hart in the fact where he's just transitioned? They put a strap on him, then dropped it to Yokozuna, and then put it back on him, and then it's Stone Cold or Shawn Michaels, and then Stone Cold. So, we don't know what Roman Reigns is still. And that's the scary part because John Cena's gone.
Yep.
He's gone. So do you think the Shield will be enough to carry him? We talked about Miz trying to propel these two guys. I think Ambrose and Seth Rollins are put together to help, again, be a crutch, both arms for Roman Reigns. Or should the WWE say, hey, what about Dolph Ziggler? We talk about, hey, what about Bray Wyatt? Who we talk about? These other guys. Is it time to, or have they spent too much and they have to keep going, or is it time to just leave Roman?
I don't think it's time to leave Roman because I said it before and I'm going to say it again. Roman Reigns is elite, okay? He may not be able to talk, but you know what? He doesn't need to. He has the long hair. He has the menacing scowl. Have no idea why he rocks the bulletproof vest, but whatever. But Roman Reigns can just be an all-around badass. Dress him up like the Usos and you can't tell me that's not gonna get over. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, Roman still has that kind of generic. He always had like a generic look in the Shield with the chest plate and the wrist guards and all that. Like, dress him up like the Usos and see how badass he looks, and that'll get him over, man. Like, I think that's one of the things that helped get the Usos over was the look change from being so colorful to this, you know what I'm saying, to the hoodies and all black and all that. But I think, because Roman Reigns is, from everything that we've heard, is considered the leader in the locker room. He puts on great matches. He's going to get pushed to the top until he can't be pushed anymore, until like injury or he decides to give it up. I think, Roman Reigns is here to stay. And yes, I do think Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are being used to kind of get him over with the crowd because, you got to realize back in the Shield, before they broke up, who was the guy that the crowds was chanting for? Roman. Who was the guy that the crowd was hot for? Roman. So I think it's a way to not only get Roman over, but to, find a way, find just a reason to put the Shield back together. And it's not like this was 2 months. And I could see, the reason for putting the Shield back together 2 months ago when Dean was languishing in a feud with The Miz and Seth was like doing who knows what. You know what I'm saying? And Roman was, they're still trying to be pushed. Now, they don't necessarily need to for the other two guys. I think they do need it for Roman more. So, but I think, regardless, he's going to get pushed.
Man, you know what they need to do? They need to just create the Samoan dynasty, man. They, have, as you were speaking to, have the Usos beat up Ambrose and Rollins, because clearly brands don't really mean things since John Cena was able to go off the free agency and nobody else has. So I mean, somebody's else's contract's got to be up. So, and then bring Naomi in, bring Tamina in as well, and just bring the whole family in and make it a big thing and let them lead as heels. Dude, that would be super over. It would be amazing. And it could be, and let's go ahead and play up Daniel Price's scenario. He thinks Roman Reigns will be The Rock's last feud. And you have The Rock come in and say, hey guys, this is not the way to do it, blah, blah, blah. There's better ways. You don't have to go. And look, you got gold, man. You got pure gold.
Yeah, I mean,
because
you got to think, man. I think so. Here, another thing. I think WWE, because if you look at them, how they've kind of like broke up, a lot of their tag teams. And I didn't finish watching. I didn't watch all of SmackDown last night, so I don't know if the Hype Bros finally broke up. But it seems like WWE doesn't think factions are important anymore, which is kind of like everything is pointing to that not being the case. I mean, the biggest faction in the world of wrestling, is the Bullet Club, and they're a faction. The Wyatt family was insane. You know what I'm saying? Look, we got a faction in NXT right now, Sanity. So why not have factions again? It'd be a good way to get more guys involved and tell more stories. I mean, hey, I wasn't necessarily mad that it was like NWO White versus NWO Wolfpack versus the Blue WO versus the LWO, all that. But I mean, you just got to kind of ground it in a little bit of realism. But putting factions together, man. I mean, like, why can't Enzo have his own faction and he be the leader because he can talk? And you put him with two. I mean, hey, call up Authors of Pain and let Enzo, say, yeah, they got Paul Ellering, but let Enzo, be their mouthpiece and they basically be his bodyguards. I mean, that sounds like money to me. So, I mean, we can fantasy book all we want to, man. I just hope that this, the Shield coming back is a way to kind of bring factions back, I guess.
And we talk about bringing things back. They're bringing back Starrcade. They're bringing back the Shield.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing back WCW. And the last time we had the Shield, we were begging.
Wait a minute. This just in. They're also bringing back War Games at TakeOver Houston.
What? Wait. Oh, come on. See, and that was about to come out my mouth. You knew it was War Games.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love that bringing back WCW pay-per-views because they're so much better than hot balls of fire or great balls of fire or whatever the balls are that are roasting. But NXT is not hot right now. I mean, okay, some people are behind it because of culture shock or shockwave or whatever Adam Cole, Bebe, and his Ring of Honor,
the Undisputed Era.
What is their official names? Because I see Shock something on their shirts. I see Undisputed. The Unhonorable. I have no idea what the heck they're called as a faction.
I mean, they have.
You don't know either. We don't know.
Yeah. Apparently, and I like I said, I haven't watched NXT tonight, but I'm reading this on Bleacher Report. So it looks like Regal announced tonight that Sanity. So I guess they are called the Undisputed Era. So Sanity, the Undisputed
that's
Era.
So horrible.
And the Authors of Pain with Roderick Strong would face off in a War Games match, but that's only 3 teams.
Wait. Run that back.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so it's the Undisputed Era, Sanity, the Authors of Pain with Roderick Strong. I would think they would have to, add one more team to that because the whole thing with War Games was it was 2 rings, covered by a steel cage. So if they're gonna do that, they have to have a 4th team.
Yikes! But it was groups of 4 or 5, something like that. 4-man or 8-man tag matches.
Yeah.
Or 10-man tag matches.
Yeah, these
as
are like
opposed
6-man tag matches. So.
Well, no, because wait.
No, I'm sorry.
It's individual tag.
Yeah. So 3-on-3-on-3.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm disappointed because it's like 3 years so late. When it was DX versus the Shield, that was the time to do it. And what? Are you kidding me? Everybody was calling for it. What do you mean?
I mean.
Now, so you tell me you telling me this NXT version of War Games is going to be better than the high profile where we could possibly see it again in the future. DX versus the Shield. You're saying NXT versus the main roster is going to put on a better War Games.
I think so. Just because you got to think about it. The DX at the time, they were old, so they got young guys. Yeah, Daniel Price was 5-on-5, and 2 teams.
Right.
But so here's the thing, man.
You tell me.
When it comes to NXT, Hunter hasn't let me down once. So I'm going to rock with it, man. I would love, what I'm saying? It's cool that it's War Games. It's NXT, you know what I'm saying? I'm upset that the Starrcade show isn't going to be televised. I think that's stupid. But
how do you not make that a network special at least?
I don't. You have to. They made a house show in Hawaii last year, a network special for Pete's sake. You know what I'm saying? Why not you're rebooting Starrcade, probably the most famous of all WCW pay-per-views, and nobody's gonna be able to see it unless you're there. It makes no sense.
No, it's crazy, but Oh, sorry, I got my two videos playing, but yeah. So we'll see what comes out of that. You're right. You're all right. Triple H, anytime it comes to a takeover, it typically surpasses the pay-per-view that's going to be that on that same weekend.
I don't think I've seen one that hasn't been better than the main roster show the night after. I'll be honest.
But the problem is I'm not invested. That's why I have a problem with it. I'm not invested in the feud. Sanity's got the titles, but I don't know. I think they definitely need to make a title change. I don't know. The part is I've been off of my WWE network, right? So that's the legit reason. It's not necessarily they have failed me in the storylines. I've been catching up through clips because I just got my network back, WWE Network. So I got some homework to do, and maybe that by time.
NXT's been pretty good of late. Here's the only thing that I can say, and like I said, I haven't seen it tonight, is I don't understand why Drew McIntyre had 2 matches against Roderick Strong, but then at the last takeover, Adam Cole and Red Dragon jumped him, and he hasn't had any interaction with them since. He hasn't called them out or anything like that. They've basically been feuding with Sanity. And who else? It was another team too. But they've basically been feuding, with Sanity. So we'll see, man.
Yeah, and the other issue with NXT is they've had all these call-ups and they haven't properly been able to reestablish their stars quick enough. What happened to Cassius Ohno? He's been there. He's been in matches with their top guys, but I haven't heard anything about him.
He had that really good match with Tommy at Takeover. And since then, he had a really good match with somebody last week. I can't remember who it was.
But that's the thing. He's good. There's nobody doubting that, but there's no buzz.
Let's see what you mean. What can you do in that instance? I think.
Well, he's going from one person to another. That's
right. And so another thing I think is it seemed like on the last couple of weeks you've had a lot of people like filtering through, and the main people haven't been on the show. Like I haven't seen Ember Moon on the show since Takeover. Like I said,
she hurt them?
No, she's not hurt. Drew McIntyre hasn't been on the show, and he's the champ. But you did have the British guys in. That's who else? The Undisputed guys have been kind of feuding with the British guys.
Yeah.
Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and I want to say Dan Severn, but I know it's not Dan the Beast Severn, but the other guy, the older guy, but British Strong style. So
right.
They have a lot of talent in NXT. It's just cycling them through. And you can't forget about Black. You can't forget about Tommy, Street Profits. Shout out to the Street Profits.
What you think about? What do you think about Patrick's gimmick? His Purple Rain.
Oh man,
Gold Dust. Are you feeling that?
What's his name? I almost called him Velveteen Dream. He all right, man. He can wrestle. You know what I'm saying? And he plays the character well. Like the interaction he had with Aleister Black 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh snap, man.
Right.
Aleister Black.
So weird. It's so like his personality is like so forced, and like obviously he's a bad guy, and so they got to play up to, but it kind of goes beyond that. Like back when he was on Tough Enough, where he acted mightier than thou, that comes off to me, it's something in his facial expressions that just like, I don't even want to deal with you because I don't know. But you're supposed to have your confidence, but it just I don't know. Something about it is awkward. But do you think it'll be the second coming of Goldust? He's playing that androgynous kind of character.
I don't.
Do you think it'll
so.
get to that level, or we've already seen it and it's done? It's like
I mean, it's WWE hasn't had a character. Well, there hasn't been a character in wrestling like him since Orlando Jordan was in TNA.
Right.
So I think it's Stratos defense, but I don't think that it's done.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, man. We'll just have to see. But like I said, I kind of for a second NXT was a little flat when Rude first became the champ, but I like where it is now. I like the guys they have in. Man, Adam Cole. Speaking of Adam Cole, he is an odd shaped human being. I mean, seriously, like he's like. He's a little guy, but he has like big legs and a bird chest. Like his chest, like he has a chest like my 13-year-old son, and it's just
his head is huge.
Yes. But I mean, I'm really looking forward to what Fish and O'Reilly can do. We haven't really seen them in a match by themselves. They've just been kind of jumping cats, but I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to where NXT is going. I think they're in good hands.
Is there? I know it just released, but is there anything on the line in this War Games match? Because
I don't think so. And now here's the crazy thing. I'm pretty sure it was announced last week that on that at TakeOver Houston, it would be Roderick Strong versus Drew McIntyre for the NXT title. But tonight it was made that Roderick Strong would be joining Authors of Pain. So I thought that was kind of a little bit weird.
That seems like a weird pairing. I need to get back up.
Yeah, I definitely have to watch tonight because I'm not familiar how they came up with that pairing.
Man, and they already got the branded NXT TakeOver War Games. It's already up on the web there.
Yep.
I guess we'll get back into this in a minute. What? Go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I was just scrolling through Bleacher Report. And I saw something about Kalisto,
Oh gosh, Kalisto. He was the big catch of the 205 division.
Right.
What?
Oh man,
what?
I was hoping it, like Johnny Gargano or Chad Gable was gonna run out there, bro. Man, like seriously, Kalisto. Like, first of all, why hasn't Kalisto been at 205 live? You know what I'm saying? Already,
or maybe Rey Mysterio, but if they were going to come up with a cruiserweight and be like, oh my God, he's here, he's finally in the 205 live division. What? Come on, man.
Like give me Ricochet or give me Pentagon,
yes.
but not Kalisto, man.
Or Leo Rush.
Or Leo Rush, who made his debut, because he actually the crowd died so hard when Kalisto came out. There was a bunch of kids doing it, but then the fact his music is garbage too.
Yeah, well, it's like, wait, is that TJ Perkins or what is going on with that? Like, they got so excited with that, they just like, let's just rip this and go ahead and give this to Kalisto too. Like,
yeah. Like, yo, where's Sin Cara, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, Sin Cara.
Who's that?
Oh, yeah. Who? But, hey, man. Yeah, they are.
I don't know.
I was like, really? Like, you saved the main event. Like, you put the cruiserweights in the main event again, but Kalisto's the big reveal?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and props. To me, it seemed like they're trying so hard to, as I mentioned earlier, keep a dying brand alive. And I mean, that's just not the way to go about it. You know what would be more interesting? I don't know. This is crazy. But they could go in the footsteps of Alundra Blaze. I would have been more excited if Asuka would have came out on the end of Raw and obliterated Enzo. Could you imagine that?
Hey,
She's
man.
well under 205.
She is. And she's a monster, too, so.
Yo, so Asuka is going to be the she's debuting for Raw or SmackDown?
Raw
SmackDown?
at TLC. And I think it was stupid of them
Raw.
to announce it already.
Well, I'm not mad at that, just to build the hype and the anticipation. But she's not scheduled for a match yet. They're just saying she's going to appear.
Yeah, they just said she's going to appear.
So I'm assuming whoever wins that Raw Women's title, it's got to be Alexa Bliss retaining against Mickie James, and then Asuka's going to come out. And because she's been claiming she's beat everybody, she beat the whole division, she didn't get to beat Mickie James, and now Asuka's going to show up and you never beat me, right? And so that's going to be good, but here's the thing. Raw's still your flagship, so you want to put your stars on there. But they keep not burying. I hate we use the term burying way too much, but move Nia to SmackDown then.
Yeah.
Put her over on SmackDown. What are you doing with her?
If you're not going to give Big Fine a title, man, she needs to be on SmackDown. Big
Fine, that's hilarious.
Big Fine, man.
Yeah, she's the former lingerie model.
No, and she actually modeled at during New York Fashion Week a few weeks ago.
Right, I saw that. Hey, I don't know if she set that up or the WWE set that up, but that is excellent marketing. That was a great job, especially with what's her name, Ashley Graham, getting into swimsuit catalogs now, and this has been an explosion for plus size models. So they should be playing that up a whole lot more. They should be trying to book her on everything.
Yes.
I don't know how good her runway. I know she was a model and did runway, but I don't know how on par it is compared to professionals who do it all the time now. But I mean, that crossover appeal is money. It's money. It's money. But yeah, I'm highly disappointed with Nia Jackson. Not like she's crushing Alexa Bliss in the match, and we know anything goes. So you're trying to win the title, and then the next week they're best friends again. They're in the locker room, and Nia's I don't know if you follow her on Twitter, but she crushed somebody who said, "Wait, you didn't tell me, when did you make up with Alexa Bliss?" And she just fire. She's like, "When do I concern myself telling you my business?" She is probably one of the best follows in the WWE on Twitter.
Yeah.
For sure. So we'll see how that goes with the and I see the hashtag you drop it in the chat. Wait.
And you know what? I didn't. Okay, I kind of stole that. Shout out to Real Life Cash from the Wrestle Rap podcast. That's who I got that from. So yeah, it wasn't me, but it fits.
Daniel Price is saying that Braun Strowman.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah,
I did not know that.
Oh man, yeah, they all booed up on Instagram and everything, man. Yeah.
What? I don't follow on Instagram. I follow on Twitter, but I never seen any photos. What the?
Yes, sir.
I don't understand that.
Yes, sir.
I don't understand. I'm confused. I'm so confused. She's from Cali. He's from the deep country.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know where Braun Strowman is from, but I mean,
he's from North Carolina. He's got country strong in the middle of North Carolina attack.
Okay.
So he is as country as you can get. I've heard him on the Jericho's podcast and Stone Cold's podcast, and talking about his mostly strongman days, but he is straight country. I'm confused.
Speaking of country, and I guess we can wrap it up with this, man. And this has nothing to do with wrestling, but man, we have to protect Shannon Sharp as our greatest living black monument at all times, man. Shannon Sharp, boy. I mean, he be on the miles and that hen dog, man. I don't know if you saw Shannon Sharp on his show this week.
I saw I didn't see. I saw the remix. I didn't actually see the clip. I just saw the remix.
Yeah, man. Shannon Sharp pulled out Black and Miles as a victory cigar on the show on Monday.
What was the victory of, though? What was he celebrating?
Because he's a former Denver Bronco, and they straight smashed the Cowboys this week. And I don't know who Joy's team, Joy the host, I don't know who her team is, but
Skip is a Cowboy fan.
Yeah, Skip is a Cowboys fan, but he pulled out the Black and Miles, like, you know what, got me a little victory cigar, and like the look on Skip Bayless's face was phenomenal, man. Just because it was so outlandish, it's like, yo, man, Shannon Sharp really pulled out some Black and Miles on TV, and then Joy, the host, was like, you really pulled out a Black and Miles, and Skip's like, well, where'd you get that from? Rite Aid? And it was probably the best moment in TV of all the last 2 weeks, man.
Hey, I'm not mad at that. Shannon Sharp is my hero right now, man. He calls it like he sees it.
Yeah, man.
He backed down a little bit with Ray Lewis a little bit, so I wish he would have kept held his ground. But that's his boy, and
yeah,
it is what it is. We do that for friends sometimes, but yeah, for sure, the greatest thing on in sports right now. Oh, let's close on this real quick. Shayna Baszler just got signed to the Performance Center.
Yep.
I see that as a given. We're going to get that 4 horsewoman versus 4 horsewoman. Now,
and you see Stephanie, on TMZ said, her offer absolutely stands. Triple H said the same thing today. So I think it's pretty much a given that we'll see Ronda Rousey in the WWE. Maybe not before the year's out, but by WrestleMania. I would probably say by Royal Rumble.
By Royal Rumble, yep. Hey, what if she were to pop up in the 15th entrant in the Royal Rumble?
Nah.
And then, because you're trying to get the ladies in now, and then all of a sudden, like the 4 horsewomen of NXT are envious of this, and then they throw her out, and that gets us popping. But her acting is so bad, I don't know if I can enjoy it.
Yeah,
this might be a long run.
Yeah. I don't know, man. But I would be sad to see her get a Royal Rumble before Asuka. Asuka definitely has to be in the Royal Rumble next year, don't you think?
Only if she were to debut. No. If she was going to debut at that time and then kick things off, I don't know if you can give it to her. I think it has more pop if it's a female debuting, but or returning. Mm-hmm. So, like we saw with Awesome Kong and that Karma. That was a
right.
I don't even want to get into that. That breaks my heart every single time. But
yeah, man.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. We thank you for joining us on Facebook Live and on YouTube. hanging out with us. You can do so each and every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget to follow us at Hit the Ropes on Twitter and at Hit the Ropes on Facebook. Until next week, Mac, we will see them then.
Peace.
Peace.